At the start of this year, OpenAI released ChatGPT. The power of this tool, from being able to answer simple questions to generating code to solve complex problems, has raised this one fundamental question: will AI replace human jobs? We are already seeing this fear manifest in writers in Hollywood, as they are on a strike, with one of their reasons being that they need protection from AI-generated content replacing their jobs. In this video, we will be answering this question. Well, if you clicked to watch this video, you probably already know from the title that our answer to this question is no. But we will be explaining 3 reasons why these fears are unreasonable, and why AI will never completely replace human jobs, but rather create new jobs and industries. Since the release of ChatGPT, we have been seeing a lot of other AI-related products being created. There is an argument to be made that we are getting into the AI era in the digital revolution. Throughout history, we have seen major shifts like this occur in the world economy, from the agricultural revolution to the digital revolution. Looking back, we see that all these revolutions significantly improved the standards of living and life expectancy of humans. But in those times, the sentiments were different. Similarly, as today, there was a lot of fear of machines taking over the role of humans, thereby rendering people jobless. In fact, at the start of the Industrial Revolution, a group of textile workers, known as Luddites, came together and protested the use of machines in textile factories. They described the use of machines as a fraudulent and deceitful way to replace the skilled labor of workers and drive down wages by producing inferior goods. This story brings us to our first point. The transition into a new era does not occur overnight, but rather in a gradual adoption by individuals. Going back to the story of the Luddites, they were kind of right in the sense that the initial adoption of machines would probably not be as effective as humans. The thing with innovation is that each time a new technology that looks promising comes up, the initial iterations are usually not efficient. Look at computers, for example. The first computers cost millions of dollars with way less computing power. Computers did not just take over the role of a vast majority of jobs overnight. It was still more effective in terms of price and speed to use people for most tasks. But then what happened was the most repetitive but time-consuming tasks got replaced by machines. We can look at the example of the profession of human computers. A lot of you might not have heard that term, but in the past, there were professional human computers. In fact, in the 18th and 19th centuries, the word computer actually referred to someone who did complex and long arithmetic calculations. Most arithmetic calculations, like businesses' revenue, bank transactions, and taxes, were done by these people. Some of these calculations will require multiple people to do them in parallel and combine the results to save time. Today, there are obviously no job openings for computers, but this job did not become extinct overnight. First, it was the advent of calculators, which could only do addition. This was a great tool for human computers, as all summation operations could be dedicated to calculators, thereby making them concentrate on more complex parts of calculations. This made them more efficient in doing their jobs. You might think being more efficient means companies will need less of them. Well, that is not necessarily the case initially. Imagine there was an accounting consulting company that used human calculators. Being more efficient can mean meeting deadlines earlier, or being able to scale more to attend to more clients. It is only after a process becomes optimal in terms of time and quality of output that businesses start reducing their hiring in that area. This will mean initially, the adoption of calculators just improved the productivity of human computers. Then the more and more the technology got better, the less of them was needed before their roles became extinct. But this is a process that can occur in a period of 30, 40, or even 50 years. Bringing this back to AI today, companies will not just adopt AI just for the sake of it. It will be to solve a problem or improve productivity. Apart from factory robots, which have practical use cases, the only application of AI which has been massively adopted by lots of companies is ChatGPT, which is mainly just for research. Right now, ChatGPT just makes the task of searching in Google and having to go through several web pages before finding what you need, to all be done for you by asking a simple question. This does not mean ChatGPT will take the job of software developers anytime soon, but instead, it just makes software developers more efficient in researching solutions. As time passes, AI can evolve into a level where there is not a need for a lot of software developers, but that is still far from the case at its current state. And when this even occurs, the labor force would have also been transitioning based on the demand on the job market. This leads us to the second point in this video. Humans are always evolving and tend to adapt or change their focus in different scenarios. As I mentioned before, the labor force tends to adapt to the demand in the job market. Just about 30 years ago, if a kid told their parents they wanted to go study computer science in school, they were looked at crazy. But today, it is one of the top enrollments in universities all over the world. This only occurs because of the high compensation and incentives provided by the job market for software engineers. The question you might be asking is what happens to those already in the job market? For this case, the answer is simple. I am sure everyone knows someone who is working as an accountant, software developer, or data analyst, but did nothing related to that in school. Also think about it, how many people do you know who are in the same role now as they did? Maybe 10 or even as recent as 5 years ago. Even if it is the same company, most people's roles evolve, which sometimes might mean learning at the job or getting training. Sometimes it can even be paid by the company they work for. Most companies today are very niche and require an understanding of their business processes in most roles. For some companies, it might take years to understand. As such, there is high value in retaining existing workers. Unless the positions are highly skilled, most companies will not be shy to train their best people, whose roles might be taken by AI for new positions. In general, the conclusion of AI, taking away people's job, is short-sighted and limits humans' capability to evolve and innovate. For jobs which will actually be replaced, it provides newer opportunities for other industries to come to light. This brings us to the third point. AI will lead to the birth of more industries and jobs. This has been the case throughout human history. If we look at the agricultural revolution, the movement from hunter-gathering subsistence to industrialized farming meant that humans did not need to bother every day about their basic needs. After this problem was solved, humans did not just go and sit in their caves, but then they were now able to research, innovate, and improve other parts of their lives like shelter, medicine, and transportation, all of which have led to the civilization we enjoy today. Also, just within the digital revolution itself, the coming of computers, which was thought would replace a lot of jobs, ended up creating more jobs and industries than it took. Just 20 years ago, if you became a software engineer, your only options were to work in a software company or very big companies which could afford to have on-site servers, and some network and electronics engineers to host and manage their own servers and applications. The advent of the cloud meant these large corporations could just use cloud technologies and not need all these servers on site, thereby reducing the number of engineers for managing their infrastructure. At first glance, it might look like these will lead to job reduction in network and electronics engineers. But then, when you look again, the advent of the cloud meant a whole new business line for the big tech companies, with the birth of new roles called site reliability engineers and cloud architects. These were roles that network, security, and electronics engineer could easily transition to with training. Granted, the big businesses don't need as many engineers as before, but the cloud made it much cheaper and affordable for smaller businesses to have their own in-house applications and even their own infrastructure. This opened a new market for cloud practitioners and software developers, thereby generating way more jobs for them. Also, a platform like YouTube, which was not a thing just 15 years ago, is now making millions for lots of people. A woman who is a stay-at-home wife can easily get into content creation by posting cooking videos on YouTube. These are ways to generate income which no one envisioned at the start of the digital age. All these are made possible because of new innovations that keep coming up. There is no reason why AI will not follow the same path. Like the computer, the internet, and blockchain technology, AI is just a new tool in the digital space, which would be used to improve efficiency and lead to newer innovations to transform the world we live in positively. We can already see its effect today, with an increase in the number of companies getting into the semiconductor business, which are required in powering AI. This is leading to an increase in jobs in this sector. And there you have it, folks. The 3 reasons why AI will not replace jobs. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of the points. We briefly mentioned how companies transition to cloud computing in this video. If you are interested in getting a more detailed story about the history of cloud computing, click on this video. Please click on the like button and subscribe if you are not yet already, as this will help us in providing you with more content that will interest you. Until next time.